Am I in?
Yep. Can you hear you?
Am I jacked into the Matrix?
You're in it.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Jules.
And
we doing spookies.
I'm so scared.
This one came out of nowhere. I don't even remember how I found it.
I was really curious to know how this came about.
Well, actually, no, I do remember. We watched, originally, my first pick that we had watched was Late Night with the Devil.
Mm-hmm.
Then I stumbled upon a British film. I think it's called Ghost Watch.
Oh, yeah, people like that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, oh, this...
Did you watch it?
No, because I was going to suggest that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, if I could find a third movie of this genre, I got a real bow to tie on my spookies this year.
Uh-huh.
Last year I did 80s, 90s, 2000. This year I was going to do movies that came out kind of within this year. Newer shit. Hence, Late Night with the Devil.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that I had picked. Then I was looking at that movie Tarot.
Oh.
I was like, oh, this might be dumb. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
But then it was described as a horror comedy.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, I don't want to watch that then. So I Googled like horror movies that are like a fake TV show. And that's where Ghost Watch came up. And then somehow this came up. And I was like, well, this isn't that at all, but this looks kind of cool.
I guess my wondering is, I think you hate zombie stuff?
No, I like when it's done well.
This is a wonderful micro version of a zombie movie. This is the best.
This feels like the writer or the director or somebody or all of them played Project Zomboid.
I don't know what that is.
It's a game on Steam.
Is it like Stardew Valley?
No, it's more isometric. I mean, it's just the ultimate zombie survival sim. You just wake up, shit's amok. You start with nothing or a random roll of shit in a random house. And you just got to start finding clothes and tearing up shirts to make rags for bandages. And eventually the power will shut off. And once the power shuts off, then the water supply shuts off. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, how deep is this movie going to go? Oh, okay. They're doing it. Mm-hmm. So then, in Zomboid, you got to get your skills up enough where you can like start making rain barrel collectors using trash bags and building the shit, or just put pots outside, and when it rains,
fuck, this is your jam 100%.
And I'm like, this is it, because usually, I mean, zombie movies, I always say that they're dumb because they're the only genre of monsters where it only works because nobody in that world knows what a zombie is. Mm-hmm. If you knew what a zombie was, they go, oh, that's a vampire. That's a werewolf. They know what they are. Well, how do you kill them? They look it up. Mm-hmm. You just would probably be able to take down zombies. But they need people who are like, Peg?
Are you okay?
Peg, are you? Peg's at me. Otherwise, it would never work.
Peg needs a hug. Yeah.
This one, they don't really bog down too much on anything. You don't really know beyond this small stretch of Paris. Mm-hmm. How widespread this is, what's going on, why it happened. It seemed to be that one night.
Your copy was in English too, right? This movie's in English? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
At first, I thought it was going to be an English dub to a foreign language.
Happening.
It feels like that at times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it seems to line up pretty good. Yeah. But then he goes, hey, when he's in that apartment. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like whatever. So why don't you go ahead and oh, no, you know what I'm going to do is I got a couple of small facts.
Okay. Is this movie a successful movie? You're going to tell me.
I am going to tell you. It had an estimated budget of basically £3 million. It grossed worldwide $95,000.
3 million pounds of what?
Shit. Oh. And bacon.
Oh. I can't believe this movie isn't successful. I loved zombie movies growing up. Zombie movies, I feel like, are similar to superhero movies for my generation, where I loved them. There was a few, and then there was none. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we get pile after pile after pile due to like one thing doing well, and there's a burnout on both of those things. So this is a fucking delight.
I think also the problem is sort of once people started to look back on like Night of the Living Dead in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then we're like, man, it's the people that are the monsters. Then every fucking zombie thing, or most of the zombie things, were focused on that.
Yeah.
The zombies were always there and were a threat, but it was more like, man, look how bad humanity is to each other. And
fucking
shit.
Larry's out of control, man. He's got slaves and he's killing people.
But by and large, it's hit or miss for me on zombies. I'm more like zombie games than films, but I really like this one. I thought it was different. And for the most part, there really isn't anything that I can nitpick about.
No. I mean, there's like one thing where you're like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And then they're like, just kidding, it's not.
But I like that. I like the God. Okay, so did you hit me with that synopsis?
I didn't.
Hit me with it.
The night eats the world. Local down on his luck everyman musician Sam Anders Danielson Lee shows up at his ex's apartment to retrieve some of his musical tapes she inadvertently took when they broke up. After a series of events results in Sam falling asleep in a locked room, he wakes up the next morning shocked to find the apartment is now in shambles with blood and no one to be found. It soon becomes clear that a portion of the population, specifically in Paris but presumably worldwide, has succumbed to a zombie outbreak while Sam was asleep, and he must now contend with surviving alone in the aftermath. Will Sam be able to ride out the storm until his inevitable death, or should he instead venture out into the world in the hopes of finding a semblance of humanity that managed to remain off the menu while the night eats the world?
So yeah, then the movie starts up, and it's just like, it almost feels like Cloverfield.
I just kept waiting for the zombie aspect, like I knew it was waiting for me.
He's at a party, and he doesn't want to be there. And he runs into his ex-girlfriend, whose party it is, presumably. It's just like a ton of people at this party.
Yeah.
Like 70, 80 people. It's nuts.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, I'm just here for my tapes. And I didn't realize that you were celebrating or something. I thought I was just stopping by to get my tapes. And she's real weird.
Yeah.
She keeps like going, oh, hang on, hold on, hang on. I want to talk, hang on.
She wants to hang out with him.
And
maybe
then,
she doesn't want to be broken up.
It almost feels like they're close enough that she's just like, it wasn't that big of a thing. You don't need to be like this down. But then her boyfriend comes over and he starts necking on her. And he's just like, I just want my tapes. And she ditches him, he drinks, and eventually he just goes up to her, like, grabs her arm, which isn't cool. And he goes, where are my tapes? And then her boyfriend goes, yo, what's this? And he goes, man, I don't want to be here. Get out. Yeah, just give me my tapes and I will get the fuck out of here, And she goes, they're in the back office. Just go hang out and I'll be over. And he goes in there and somebody bumps into him and busts his nose.
Yeah.
Boosh. And eventually he starts to bleed. And he's drunk. And he locks the door. And he's just sitting in the chair bleeding, crying a little bit. And he passes out.
He locks the door first.
That's what I said. I said he locked the door. He's in the chair. He's been drinking. He's bleeding a little bit.
I've been drinking, not bleeding.
Yeah.
Forgetting what you said.
That's fine.
Okay.
And this is our third episode of the night.
Yeah, we did 3.
Yeah.
This is too many. And we drank these weird buzz
He
balls.
specifically said, let's not do 3. And now we're doing 3.
You know what? I always say that. I'm like, hey, man, what if we do 3?
But we won't be doing 1 next week.
No, I'm on vacation.
So he's passed out, and then all of a sudden he wakes up and it's the next day. And he's like, oh, yeah, my tapes are still here. And he grabs his tapes, and he opens up the door, and there's just, like, blood and shit, like, everywhere.
Instantly. It's like some, not a party. Something awful happened.
Bags, shirts. I mean, yeah, but no body.
This is like the apartment in Beau is Afraid when he finally gets back to his apartment after the homeless people are gone. He's like, what? What?
And I'm kind of like wondering now, like, this feels almost like something happened where multiple people were actively now zombies.
Yeah, we don't see how the infection spreads.
Yeah.
It's not in everybody because dead bodies aren't coming back to life as zombies.
Right.
How fast is it affecting people? Like, I mean...
Is there one guy down the street who's got it and he bites and he bites and he bites when somebody gets into the party? Or is it like just all of a sudden like the signal?
Yeah.
Something just occurs and they
start herking and jerking like a crackhead.
Yeah, because there's nobody in this apartment, no bodies. Mm-hmm. So that leads me to believe that all of those people, whoever was left, zombified and then left.
Yeah. His luck is that the door was locked and he was asleep, so he was quiet.
Yeah.
So nothing happens to him.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
Is this maybe the best way to deal with the zombie invasion is we don't see the infections, we don't see the spread. It's just, hey, it's the next day. The night ate the world, and here we are.
So immediately he sees somebody and they charge at the door. He's like, I think holy shit. Is it the girlfriend?
Yeah, it's the girlfriend.
Gabby? Because
she's just like sitting outside the door.
Funny. And then he's like, oh shit. And he's looking out the window and he's seeing like the horror around him. And he's just like, fuck. So then he just starts to like try to survive. He's just there.
It doesn't start with him cleaning, right? The cleaning.
No, eventually, a day maybe or two goes by and he's just sort of taking it all in.
Because it is interesting because this becomes his home base.
Yes.
Initially this apartment, eventually the whole building kind of. But I like that he decided to clean.
Yeah.
Because after a certain point, I'm going to be here. This probably shouldn't be just a pile of gore.
That's another thing in Project Zomboid is you can get bleach and sponges and clean up blood. If you have blood within your
hideout,
you'll eventually get sick from it. If there's corpses rotting, because they rot,
yeah,
they're dead, and then eventually there's maggots that you can get from them, and then eventually they're just skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
If you let that happen like close to your living quarters, you'll get nauseous from that. If they die in your fields where you're growing crops, it'll poison your food. You know, it's some pretty cool shit. So he's like, yeah, I got to start cleaning. He starts cleaning, and he hears like a downstairs,
yep.
And then a boosh. What the hell?
Were you thinking that somebody was shooting at him?
I did.
I thought it was real crazy. He looked through that hole next because
there's the first shot.
Hey, I just cleaning the floor
because the husband shoots the wife.
Yeah,
and then it shoots through the floor when the husband shoots himself.
Yeah, so I guess there's a gap because he also lays a sheet over her head after he shoots her, right?
Yeah, so maybe we don't hear that. Maybe it's already happened. Although you think he would. But
no, I feel like there was a loud noise and then the explosion.
Yeah.
So I think you're right.
Yeah, and
the second noise was louder because it's ripping through the floor.
I thought it was because he's that they shot at him, either thinking he was a monster or shut the fuck up.
What a waste of ammo.
And he looks to the floor. Whew, and that guy's brains.
This guy is really smart with ammo. Did you notice that in this movie?
Yeah.
He doesn't fuck around.
No, he does. He fucks around a lot.
With the ammo?
Yeah. Yeah. When he gets into a scuffle with the guy before he realizes that his wife and kid are there also, he shoots an errant bullet.
Uh-huh.
And then when he got scratched and he cleans himself and he goes into his room and he puts the gun under his head, he falls asleep and he shoots another bullet.
Yeah. But I mean, he's not just like shooting zombies left and right, being like, I'm killing some of them, wasting them.
He does kill that cat though, right?
Yeah.
Why?
He's mad at it.
I guess.
The cat chose
it eventually would come by.
Over him.
You know,
I thought about you with him trying to lure that cat in.
Just leave the food out and he'll come and get it. And then eventually you can leave it closer to the door and he'll come in, and then eventually you're there and then you introduce yourself and he might accept you, and if he doesn't, then that's life, you know.
It's weird that the zombies don't eat the cat, because that was my fear. Mm-hmm. And when the idea is to just leave the food out, I feel like that's just like leading the cat to its death, because it's going to get eaten by the zombies trying to get the food.
No, it was like rubbing on the zombie's leg. But there's also like no other, I mean, there'd be like tons of animals if they're not dead, right? Dogs,
especially if the zombies don't care about them.
Yeah.
Rats everywhere.
Oh God, yeah. But there's not, that we know of. And so he eventually, you know, he closes the door. The zombies rush, but he closes it, and he starts to gather keys from the super's apartment and starts going through them slowly. You know, he puts the keys on the wall and he marks them. And the one's like weird. I
think it's ground level.
Okay.
He's creating a stockpile of food.
Yeah.
Batteries.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything. Because you're gonna want like belts for like tourniquets. You're gonna want clothes. To find a wardrobe that suits you best. He doesn't really seem to worry too much about that. He puts on a leather coat, but
because I think it's just regular weather for a while until it gets cold.
I'm not talking even about like warmth. I'm talking about like bite and scratch resistance.
Oh sure.
A leather jacket is smart, but it's just open here.
Yeah.
You know, and his hands are exposed, and you want to start wrapping magazines on you and shit, you know.
I've seen Train to Busan.
Hell yeah, you have. But anyways, yeah, he goes, okay, well, there's a man and a woman and a baby that almost killed me in this apartment. I'm just gonna leave that.
She's probably like 8.
And then
there's a baby.
Yeah. And then there's an old man in the elevator, and he locks him in there. He gets a earbud set of a iPod. And it's like some kid speaking Norwegian pretending to make music with his mouth, and he finds a drum set in there, and so he eventually makes it seems like maybe a 6-day calendar, but it's just really broken up for some reason into 6 segments, and those are like, I'm alive.
I guess
alive.
6 is easier to do in a grid pattern.
Maybe.
You're freeballing it as opposed to trying to get 7.
And like I said, like days of the week no longer matter. So it doesn't really matter, how many there are.
Because left, right, middle,
Mm-hmm.
the grid's good to go.
But anyways, when he has done that, there's 40 X's on the window.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been alive for a little over a month. And he's rationing the food. He's exercising. He does weird musical stuff.
Yeah.
He's on dancing, and it's just super bizarre. But
He's a musician, right? I mean, he has endless time, nobody to interact with.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
and he plays the drums, and he listens to like thrasher music. Then the power does go out. He's putting anything he can fill water in on the roof to collect rain. He's got a fire going. And you can do this in Project Zomboid also. He's taken off any unnecessary doors and just kind of stacked them up. And he's probably going to use them for like firewood.
Mm-hmm.
He took the door off of a refrigerator, turned it on its side, and is using it as a bathtub. But he's starting to like,
Is that what the tub is?
mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a tub.
No, it's a refrigerator that he took the door off of.
Oh.
Yeah.
But there's probably tubs in that building.
Yeah, but this was right by the fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
So he's in the living room.
If it was clawfoot, you could probably drag it, but it's not. Right?
You could probably try, But he's starting to like hear things. He has a dream one night where zombies burst in on him and his gun doesn't work and they just kill him.
Uh-huh.
He's starting to lose it a little bit. He's hearing things. He's seeing shadows.
Like just a glimpse of something.
Yeah. Eventually, he sees the cat because he finds the paintball gun that he's shooting zombies with for fun. Tries to lure the cat. The cat isn't about it. He almost gets killed because he leaves the apartment.
Mm-hmm. Not a good idea.
No, and then he kills the cat. But eventually, one night, he hears somebody in his apartment. And he's taken the shotgun and he's sawed it off at this point. Sawed off. He just goosh right through the door.
Why would this person run up on the door like that?
Because she knows he's in there.
But why would you do? Wouldn't you carefully walk up and knock and
Well, that's
say,
what I mean.
"Excuse me"?
Because she knows. Because she knows he's in there.
Yeah.
You would think I better announce myself.
Yeah. For
Right?
sure.
Because she's been watching him.
And there's not zombies after her.
No, and you got in there super cool. At this point, the building's fucking locked down as much as it can be.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Even though later when it's inundated, it seems like they really spread fast.
Yeah.
Like when the fire starts.
I mean, it's the noise. Yeah.
And he goes up and they're just all fucking there all of a sudden in his apartment. I thought maybe he was going to have a wrestle with the old man, but it's like everybody's there. The party is all over again. Mm-hmm. But so he hears he goes, that didn't sound like a zombie. He looks outside and it's just this gorgeous woman busted up. So he drags her into the bedroom, just buckshot all in her belly. He's fishing it out. He's like, no, stay with me. Stay with me. And then next we see him, he's not looking too good. And he's just racked with guilt and beside himself. But then we see her eating soup. And they introduce each other, and she's like, yeah, I met a couple of lonely guys in apartments like you, and I've just been rooftoping it and shit. And he's like, oh, word.
She's like, I Batman.
Yeah. And so then it just like kind of fast forwards a little bit in time. He's got his like music routine down pat, and it's really dope. He's singing. And then she knows the number. She starts singing too.
Nice.
It almost feels like that video you talked about with the guy we used to know.
Oh, Gaudier?
Yeah, that sort of it gives me that weird sort of vibe. I don't know.
Okay.
Like that's the relationship the song's about or something. And she's like, we need to leave here though. Because he was playing the drums. And every zombies are like trying to climb up.
When he's just screaming at him, he's like, fuck you, zombies.
Yeah, because He goes, I haven't seen Zombie for like a week.
I think the drumming is what drew her in, right?
Yes.
She heard it from wherever she was.
She was across the street.
Oh, yeah.
We're led to believe, but that may also be a delusion. And he's like, I haven't seen a zombie for like ever. Or not forever, but like for a couple of days. So I'm thinking, well, instead of busting out your drums and luring them all back, maybe take this opportunity to like try to stealth out to one of the cars and siphon some gas.
Sure.
Start siphoning a bunch of gas. And then draw them over and pour the gas out. And then just light it on fire. Start killing them motherfuckers.
Apartment building's not made of wood.
Because you need to start thinning and zomboid, otherwise, they're always going to be banging on your door.
Oh.
So that's what draws her over, and now they're just macking on each other and having a happy life. And I did have a thought to myself that it didn't dawn on me while I was thinking this, but she just looks fucking pristine and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you see him and he's just a mess.
I was thinking about this. I was like, this is stupid that she has shown up and she's got tales of traveling.
And she's
like this is what this movie would be.
Incredibly attractive.
Sure. I guess I didn't really take that into account. It seemed silly that it was now like almost like a quirky romance.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, all right. I mean, I guess he's making noise. He would lure people in. I also was worried she was going to do him dirty right away.
Yeah, I kind of felt like, oh, he's got somebody now.
Yeah.
And he introduces her to the zombie guy, and she's just like,
he's going to bite you.
It's your house, man, whatever the fuck. So she's like, look, we got to go rooftop to rooftop to get out of here. Maybe there's civilization out there. And he's like, we have everything we fucking need, even though they're running out of food. Mm-hmm. She runs inside and he runs in and he goes, okay, I'm sorry. You were right. We should get out of here. We should totally leave. Talk to me. And there's nothing. Mm-hmm. And then he opens up the door and she's dead because she's been dead this whole time.
I just saw this exact thing in a different movie.
Mm-hmm. Kind of feels like there's like a slight element that's missing that makes this feel like they pulled it off.
Okay.
Because it just goes so quick from she's dead, but then she's not. And all of this time passes, and I'm like, it seems like a decent amount of time has passed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is all in his head in the few short hours that he's killed her? Right? Because it hasn't been like multiple days. He's not eating soup.
Oh, you
walking around the apartment, but living in this fantasy in his brain. I feel like this is like
this all happened in a couple hours.
She dies in the bed, and he has a mental break.
Look particularly rotten,
and then he's just sitting there dreaming. I mean, otherwise, what you think he's walking around talking to nobody?
Yeah, that's absolutely what I thought.
Okay, I mean that makes more sense, I guess. But either way, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like quite landed.
She should have been like more blackened than awful, I would think. If she's been sitting there for 40, 50 days, 10, whatever.
He does do a burial of sorts for the elderly couple because they start stinking.
I know, because I was immediately like, yeah, dump them off the balcony, get rid of them right away.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't.
Yeah, it's not right. This is their apartment.
I would have flushed him down the toilet.
Give them dignity, of course.
So he gives him the dignity. And he just says, F it, man, because she did have rope climbing gear.
Yeah, his imaginary narrative is real. He must have
based on something.
Investigated something.
He did see her bag after he left the room that night, so he was aware of that. So maybe that, whatever. So he goes, you know what? I'm going to burn these cassettes that I came here for all those years ago. And he does.
That's a terrible idea.
And then he goes down and he lets the old man out, and he doesn't want to harm him.
It's weird that he doesn't bite him.
No.
He just like leads him back to his apartment and he's happy to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like he feels like home, like somehow all that time they spent together.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now the building's on fire and the alarm goes off.
Yup.
Which I guess is battery operated.
Sure. I think it has to be, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't go off if there was a fire and the power was out. Yeah.
But it also kind of feels like maybe he would have harvested the batteries.
We probably didn't think about it.
But it starts going off, and the zombies are like, oh, shit. We on now, buddy.
We got to go to that noise.
And they start
moths
rushing over, and they're in the stairs, and he can't shoot to save his life.
Yeah.
And they overpower him, and it's only by the grace of God that he throws a curtain on one of them. And only one comes in to that room, and he fights him, but he climbs up through the hole, and now he's in his apartment. It's covered in smoke.
It's a real hellscape.
And there's 85 zombies in there.
But they don't react to him because of all the smoke.
How do they get up there?
Oh, do you think his door was still locked?
Maybe, but it just feels like they rushed in to where he was, and they all should have rushed in where he fought that guy, but they didn't.
Because
they just went upstairs?
They were going to the noise.
I guess.
I mean, I feel like the noise is centralized in that room, and maybe that's where it's loudest, but then it's also broadcasted through the whole building to let you know to leave. So maybe they're going towards the source.
Yeah, I mean, then if that is the case, then it feels like they would have all just descended upon that, area and just been specifically there, not scattered throughout. But it needs to be in it, and it's fine.
Can I ask you about the lady? Mm-hmm. Why did she die?
Because he shot her.
But it's like pellets, and he took them out.
Mm-hmm. But
she's bleeding a bit, but...
He took out some that we could see, but... Yeah. I mean, that shit will go into you. Could have pierced her lung. She's choking on her own blood now.
Okay.
Could have gotten her heart.
Yeah.
I mean...
I thought maybe she had a heart attack of fear or something. I was surprised that killed her.
Maybe it was just a shock. A shock will kill you, too.
Yeah.
And she does pass out. So now he's trying to get out, and the zombies are all...
Yeah.
And he gets out to the roof, even though they rush on him, and he locks it. And he's like, well, I'm fucked now. So he starts throwing the grappling hook. Mm-hmm. And he lands it, and he smashes into the building, and he's just out cold.
He's the Batman now, dog.
His head's busted up. He's just dangling there.
Yeah, luckily he's tied in real good, so he just gets to hang while a zombie rubs the window trying to get him.
And then he wakes up, and he climbs up to the roof, and there's just so many chimneys. And the movie's over.
Yeah, what they're showing us what? What are those things on the chimneys?
Those are the chimneys.
No,
like the stone comes up and then there's just always these metal smoke. I don't know. That if you Google French chimney.
Really? I thought they were like all water catching devices.
That's what I thought too.
To be like, hey.
So I thought they were like
people.
But it just goes on in a sea of them. So I'm like, well, this can't be all people.
So what are we supposed to gather from him looking out there?
That he's just looking out like, well, here's the rest of the world, I guess.
Maybe next time I'll not be loud?
Maybe. Like maybe he's taking this.
Seems like you could live. Yeah, you're right. It seems like you could live relatively chill as long as you're not a loud asshole. I'm having a problem because the world is over. Loud.
That's what I mean. Like, if there aren't like a ton of people around, I mean, she's around, but once those zombies abate, I would do absolutely the opposite of drawing them in.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would go out and try to like build a defense or something.
And she's right. There's buildings everywhere you can get from rooftop to rooftop. This isn't like a farmhouse far away.
Yeah.
It's not like my house where like I'd have to... Well, I don't know. I guess I can maybe get to that neighbor's house with a grappling hook.
No, but you
don't think I can get to that lady's house?
With a grappling hook?
Roof to roof?
Your roof to hers?
Yeah.
You could probably just jump.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe. What would you grapple on? And then you would swing and hit the
side of the house and fall to the ground.
You're on the ground, yeah. But no, I think, yeah, you could make an honest go because I thought it was going to, in the trailer, they show the grappling hook thing. I thought he was just going to like start going to other apartments.
Yeah.
And getting shit.
Why not? Clear out all the buildings, figure out a way to get to them.
Yeah, it's only been, I don't know, maybe 2 months.
Isn't there sewers? Couldn't you be in sewers?
It's France. There's like all sorts of underground shit.
The zombies probably wouldn't be in the sewers, right?
Yeah. No.
They would leave.
Yeah.
Especially if he's making noise. They aren't down there anymore. They're finding the noise.
And because it's only been 2, maybe 3 months, I'm pretty sure like even though the cars haven't been running, the batteries might still be good.
Some of them are pretty fucked up, but yeah.
Yeah, for some reason.
I thought maybe the zombies would start rotting. I mean, isn't that the
that's
thing?
Just it. There's nothing. They just are endless and don't decay. Yeah, I don't know. Because there's that one old man leaning against the car and he's missing a foot.
Yeah.
He just got up and walked away. Like when all the zombies left, kind of feels like shit like that would just be there.
Maybe he dragged
endlessly. Yeah, I don't know. kind of like whatever if you think about it. But in the heat of the moment, I was like, I'm about this.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
I was telling you that I was like, is this guy kind of a bad actor? It's probably just an English second language thing. And then as soon as the credits came up, I was like, wait, that's that guy I forgot I liked. He was in a super awesome movie where I think he gets out of jail. It's like Oslo, August 19th, something like that. And he gets out of jail. He was a drug dealer. And it's just like his night being back with people and having a good time, and it's kind of sad, but it's great, and he's really good in it. And I realized I was so happy to see him again. I like this movie a lot, Jules.
I thought he was pretty good in here too. Yeah, I really like this movie. I mean, it's just interesting.
Yeah,
there really isn't a lot of action.
No, but I found it to be relatively scary. There's pressure on. Stuff is around the corner that's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's more about the monotony of getting through the day with the danger outside. Mm-hmm. And if you don't fuck up, it's not getting in. Mm-hmm. He does fuck up. Yeah, I really like that it reminds me of Dawn of the Dead a little bit, in which they're in the shopping mall and he happens to be trapped in this building, but not just an apartment. He's got the whole thing, minus the dead room.
Yeah. Which he does kill them eventually.
Yeah.
To get their food, and they got a shit ton of it, I guess. But, yeah, solid. I'm glad I came across it. And I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah.
And I'd recommend it.
Me too.
Strongly.
Okay.
So that's that. Spooky number whatever.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's the scary part. Because we don't know.
I'm crushing cans in my hands. That's a rap.
Awesome.
Cans in my hands.
Crushing.
I'll put that D in there. It's a word better.
Yeah.
What the fuck I guess, I feel like we're supposed to say more, but that's
yeah, I mean, on the spookometer, I wouldn't really rate it super high.
This is what I'm missing, yes.
Yeah, maybe maybe a 4. You know, it's not spooky, it's eerie, and it's not necessarily unsettling or anything, but it is slightly, like, nerve-wracking sometimes.
Yeah, I give it a 6 because I was freaked the fuck out a few times.
Yeah.
It's that other one we talked about, but
right.
Oof.
Yeah. As a movie?
I guess 8. Mm-hmm. I really had a great time.
I was thinking an 8. I think I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I was pondering 7.5.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
It's so much better than you would expect.
Yeah, it looks good. Everybody's good in it. I mean, what little there are people. And I thought the zombies were kind of interesting.
Well,
some of them you could tell, like there was one where they were running. The guy looked at somebody else to see what they were doing, you know, so some of them were just like extras or whatever.
Sure.
But I thought the old man was pretty good as a zombie.
Uh-huh.
It seemed not just like they were driven to, like him specifically wasn't like driven to eat. There was like a weird, I don't know. It's almost like Alzheimer's or something the guy had.
Okay.
Where something's in there that you could tell there's like a moment of something, but it's so, I don't know. It's good.
Ooh. All right, we recommend it.
Yeah, check it out.
Will you watch it for us?
Mm-hmm.
Asking them. Will they do it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can go to our Linktree on Instagram.
Yep.
We're under We Doing Filmographies.
Yep, you can find everything there.
Yep, because we don't want to say it no more. You can give us a phone call or text us. 763
634-1897. You can rate us on Apple Podcasts and suggest a film for us to watch.
And then send us an email about how we are stupid at wedoingfilmographies@gmail.com.
If you've got a podcast of your own and you want us to be on it, you know,
why are you telling them that?
Because we're never going to do it.
That's rude.
It's tricking them.
I've been waiting. I keep thinking about emailing that guy back, but I just haven't.
Do it.
I'm saying Jules is going to be on it.
Yeah.
Will you?
No, but I mean,
what?
I don't know. I'd have to listen to theirs first.
Yeah, do it.
Or his.
I think you'd like it.
It's the 2 guys or 1 guy.
No, because remember, it's 1 guy and he has guests, and they
Sure.
talk about the movies.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it. Get an idea what this guy's all about. See if he passes the Jeremy Renner test.
That's fair. Hey, will you also listen to or watch We Doing Boners?
Oh, yeah, because we do those.
We got erotic movie reviews once a month on the YouTube and also in the feed. Mm-hmm. I think a separate feed. It's not out yet for when we're recording this, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We Doing Boners.
We doing them.
We got a Black Snake Moan. We got a Betty Blue.
Yeah, Basic Instinct.
Yep. You really hit that T nice. instinct.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of instinct. Mm-hmm. All right. There could be more spookies. There could not be more spookies. We have no idea of the order.
We could just be doing spookies from now on, for all I know.
Yep, another horror movie podcast. Does that sound novel to you? We had a good angle, and we squandered it. We're like, no, how about we just do movies we like from our childhood, like everybody else?
Yep.
You
ever seen Goonies?
Hey, man, have you seen Hook? Hook's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Ducks.
There you go. Yeah. I was looking at an Emilio Estevez movie earlier.
Wisdom?
For some reason. No. Then and Now, maybe?
Now and Then.
Now and Then with the guy from River Runs Through It.
That was then, this is now.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's based on an S.E. Hinton book.
It is, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, man, you already, yeah.
A movie guy. I've been Jason.
I've been Jules.
Good night.